Hello and welcome to part 3 of our Russian Navy Varyag 1350 scale trumpeter build. And in this video we're up to doing some of the superstructure, which I'll show you here. Now I've just painted the hull in an undercoat and letting that dry. And there's not much else I can do there, so while that's drying I thought we'll continue on and start building all this structure here. Now there's a lot of clear parts in this, so here we've got some side pieces here which are going to go like that with this piece in between the two. The idea of the clear one is that you can tape off the windows in these, and when you spray them you take your tape off and you've got what looks like glass in the window. So that's what clear bits are about. I noticed on this piece here there's like a ladder going up side to what will be probably a platform up there. You can see that molded on there. What I'm going to do is I'll take that off, I'll sand that down flat and replace it with some of my own, some photo etch I have left over from previous kits. We'll put a more realistic ladder on there. There's other more glass structures here. So this is another large section here that goes along the side of that main, I think it's probably the main bridge that we're building up. So that'll go on too, and there's also another sheet of clear plastic as well. There's the other one there, clear glass on there, clear plastic. Okay, so I will continue on with this and get this all put together, and we'll come back and have a look at how the hull's looking. So when the paint's dry I'll be able to put the white waterline mark across it, paint that on there. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. And I got this piece built, and I can tell you this is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to put together. Just the clear parts make it a little bit difficult because it's hard to see the tabs where they're supposed to go, like for this piece to sit on top. And also just the general shape of it. If you try to apply any pressure to hold it in place, it just slides out. Yeah, very, very difficult, but done. And I've test fitted it on the piece where it goes just to make sure I got the shape of it correct. And there we go. It fits fine. Okay, so that's out of the way. Glad for that. There's another little piece here that goes between these two clear pieces that will go, they'll stand up like this. And then this will go in between the two here. And there's some marks on here that this is supposed to sit in. And again, it's a really, I can take that out now because that was just spacing it. A really tight fit to get them in there. I had to actually just trim them down a little bit to get them to fit. Otherwise, I'm going to be struggling getting those two to getting this to sit between the two. So that's done. So the rest of that construction, fingers crossed, will go okay, and that's the parts I'm doing here. So that's done. There's that little piece that I had to trim that fits in here of these two side clear pieces. Then we've got a piece at the front, a piece at the rear, and that holds it all in place. And then we've got that flat piece, which is that, which sits on top. But this may need to be painted first because some of the deck orange is going to be around the outside of that, so I may not be able to put that on just yet. Then of course that pyramid piece will go on top of the whole thing. And there's also a deck piece that goes across the front. So it's okay. It'll come to pieces. A few other little bits there as well. So yeah, that's happening. That's all right. Now, as I mentioned, the actual hull is now undercoated with a primer, and the C mark's completely gone off that. It's nice and smooth now. I did have some little bit of dust get under the paint just a little bit there, so I'll just lightly sand those out, and then I will get the off-white that I'm using, which I don't have right here at the moment. There's white, but I do have off-white, and I'll paint that across here and let that dry before I tape over it to my waterline markings, and then I'll be able to do the red hull, paint the whole thing red. Okay, all right. So yeah, so I'll paint that, and then I'll get back into doing this, and hopefully the rest of it will go together a little bit easier than that pyramid thing did. All right, back shortly. Hey, welcome back. So I'm still working on these clear parts of the superstructure. This part here I've finished and managed to glue that together. That was no problem at all. It all fitted very nicely. And at the moment I'm doing the area that goes up on top of here, which is this here deck. This has another structure go on top of it, which is the bridge, roof of the bridge here. And there's all these little windows that go around the side. Here they all are here in clear parts. Now, what I was doing was I was just going along and putting my tape across all the little windows across there. So I've got a tiny little bit of Tamiya tape just to block, so they'll stay clear after it's painted. And then they'll all get attached onto here. So there's the side of the bridge. There we go. So there it is there. That's one on. Show that so it's not upside down. There you go. So that one's on. And then I'll just work around and attach all the other pieces on there now. But what I realized was that I need to spray this, because this has to be the grey of the ship around here. And what I've found is that because of that, the inside of the plastic is going to get some paint on it. So not only did I have to cut out the little squares for the windows on the front, but the inside of it I had to put a strip across as well, so that I don't get some overspray on the inside of there, which would block the windows from the inside. I'm glad I hadn't thought about that, because that could have been a disaster. So yeah, so I'll go along and I'm attaching all of those windows, and then this piece will be fine to spray, although there's also, in not so much the front, this area is going to be covered by a piece on top, but this section is where our pyramid goes. That's going to go on like that. So all of that in there is not going to be seen. Nothing in there will be seen once the tops go on. But around the outside there's decking, and that'll be that deck orange. So I will have to, I haven't decided whether I would hand paint that orange on there or spray it, but if I spray it, it means I'll have to mask up the inside of these areas here that are meant to be grey. So yeah, decisions. And Either way, there will be some masking that will need to be done. Okay, so I'm continuing on putting all these together, and we'll see. Also with this, there's lots of windows on here that'll all need to be taped, but fortunately on this one it'll only have to be on the outside, because when I paint this will all be sealed up, you know. So I'm not going to get any paint on the inside of that. At least I think that's the case. Whether I would have the pieces on there or not, I don't know. Yeah, this will be sealed, because this will be on there like that, and then there will be another piece on that section which is here that will be there like that. So I'll be giving all that a coat of grey. The top of this will be the orange. So I may mask that off before I do the grey. Probably be the easiest way there. A lot of fiddling around, but that's what you got to do if you want to get the result you're after. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Okay, hello, welcome back again. So I've been working on this pyramid that goes up on the top, and the more I went through the instructions, the more I realized I need to put more on here before I paint it, because I basically want everything that's going to be the ship grey on there before I paint it. Just going to make it easier, otherwise I've been fiddling around these little pieces and painting them separate and trying to attach them. So I've got all these areas here, which is where all these radars will connect to. That's going to stay grey. This platform here will be grey. It has a piece that will stick on it. There's two bits on either corner there. They're also grey. Now these platforms on this side are all grey, so that's fine. So I've put all those on. I've also put in some railing on that one, because there is railing there and it doesn't have any in the kit. I was going to put some railing on that, but then I realized, get that so you can see, on that one there, but then I realized there's a big radar dish that sticks out off that, so there can't be a railing in there. Then we got another mount there for some other little antenna or something. So everything's on there and that's ready to paint. There is a platform that goes on top of the mast here, but that's okay. I'll paint that separately because I need to get under it to put the pieces underneath. All right, so that's finally done. Oh, and yeah, that is done. Now this required a bit more thought. So there was a bit of photo which sits in here. You can have a look at that. So we've got just a little piece of photo etch point coming off the end of there. Down here, this is all going to be the orange deck color. So I'm going to paint this after I've primed everything. That will be painted all orange. And then what I'll do is I'll just mask it all up and then do my grey for everything. Up here, the only thing that's orange is around that outside area. So again, I'll spray all that orange because that's going to be covered by structure there. So that's no problem. And that's the top of the roof of the bridge. So that's not a problem. So that'll be done. And then what I'll do is I'll mask it off in there and then do the grey for everything else. These two platforms on either side, they will be the color of the orange as well. So I'll hand paint those because they're underneath. I might be able to get in there while I'm doing this and spray them orange, and then I'll tape them up as well as that before doing the grey. I hope that all makes sense. I have yet to do all the masking tape over all the windows yet. There's about a dozen on each side. And then that one is complete. Now, down the side of here, there's these. And these pieces, which is sort of covers the area where the missile tubes are. So that's why there's no detail on this. They're grey on the sides, but the top area, I'll just put this down, be a bit gentle with these. But the top section is going to be the deck orange. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll spray it the orange, and then run some tape over that. Looks like 5mm tape will cover that nicely, and then do the rest. It's supposed to be grey. I'll do all that grey. So, but in the meantime, everything's just pretty much undercoat. This part here is the roof of the bridge, and this section, if I go to the instructions, is grey, I think. No, orange. So this is the orange section on this. So I'll spray all of it orange as well. And then I'll come back and just have to hand paint all the little grey pieces that are pointing through. And I think that would be the best way. Yeah. Taping all that up just to get those bits grey, it's not going to be needed. So I should be able to do that. All right. So yeah, it took a lot more. So what I've done now, pretty much go to the instructions here, is I've gone on to page 8. So 7 was constructing all that superstructure, putting it all together. But then I went to page 8, and then I've gone and put on all the little bits that I can paint on there. And then after it's all painted, then I can go back and add things separately. There's guns on the front there. There's a few other platforms and things that still need to go on that can be all painted up separately. I just noticed something else there. No, it's fine. Right. There's some that I decided I'll leave that off because I can paint them off. Be much easier and then put them on. So yeah, so getting there slowly, it's just all these little fiddly bits. And then, of course, once all that's done, we're over to those missile structures that carry all the missile tubes and all the rest of it. And then we're back into, it looks like more superstructure, because there's another, because what we've done is only one main section. Then we've got all these other superstructures where we'll be going through all the same thing again. All right. So right now I will finish adding what I want here, and maybe it's getting a bit late, but maybe I'll be able to give a primer coat on all this stuff here. And also our hull in there has our white mark around it, which I did this morning. I'll leave that till tomorrow so I know it's 100% dry, because I need to mask over that. I don't want it peeling off. So I'll mask that up tomorrow, definitely tomorrow, and we'll do the whole red. So what we'll have is we'll have our waterline white masked up, and then we'll do the whole hull in red. And just looking here, I realize there's some pieces for the shafts and so forth that I'll need to add, because they'll need, and the rudder. So they'll need to be painted red as well. So need to skip to the end of the instructions and put those on. All right, back shortly. Okay, hello, we're back, and it's the next morning. Last night I put on the these here for the props. So they're all glued on. And these, which I've never seen on a ship before, they're sort of like hydrofoil pieces coming off the side. It's unusual. So also with this, the white strip, you may be able to see the definition. It's slightly, see if you can, camera might show, you can, there you go, you can see the difference there. So that grey, I should say, grey is done. So what I will do is I'll put some tape all the way over that, and then we'll be able to do the rest of this whole red. But before I do the taping on that, we've got all our structure pieces here ready for the primer coat, which is what I'm about to do right now. Go in there. They're all done. I've got all the tape over where all the windows are, and give these a primer coat. All right, so yep, that's about it. We're back shortly, and we'll have a look at progress. Okay, we're back again, and I've primed all those parts that you saw earlier, and they're drying. And I've taped up the hull now for the waterline mark. You can see running all the way around. Now, what I was going to do was just simply go grab my hull red Tamiya and spray it. But what I'm thinking is that I'd like to make it a little bit more redder. My previous builds, it's sort of a brownish red. It's not very bright. So what I'm thinking of doing is mixing some red into it. But I don't have any red left because I've mixed it all in here for my deck color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head off to a new hobby store today. It's about 30 minutes away, and pick up some red paint to mix in with my hull red and get that looking a little bit brighter. Also, what I did was I've run out of photo etch railings, and I'm sort of whipping through and trying to find scrap pieces, and it's not going to be enough. So what I've done was I was looking at ordering a couple of sheets of the railings, but they're really expensive, and not only expensive, but the postal is a bit slow. And you know, for 2 sheets of railings that like this size, I'd be looking at nearly $25-30 Australian. Crazy. So I put it out there on Facebook last night, and that I was after some, and a guy contacted me and said, "Oh, I've got some you can come and have a look at." And he said, you know, $10, it's fine. I thought, great. And it turns out that he has a hobby supplying warehouse and retail area, which is where I'm going to go get this paint from as well. So I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So just waiting on a shopping delivery to come, and then in the next hour or so I'm going to head out there, pick up my red paint, my new railings, and maybe something else. We'll take a look. I'm not going to take too much money, but they do have literally hundreds of models and so forth there. So yeah, I'll try and resist any temptations. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So when I come back, we'll be able to paint this up in the whole red, and get the other superstructure pieces painted up, and get some of this stuff down as well. Okay, so a bit of painting planned for today. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting, because it's going to be another hour or 2 before I can head off, I might start putting together these missile launchers, at least taking them off the sprues and getting them ready. Yeah. All right. Back shortly. Okay, so back again, and while I've been waiting for the superstructure parts to dry with the undercoat, I started putting together the missile holders and missile tubes. So they're just glued together now, and then I'll clean them all up where the nubs were from taking them off the sprues. But these are all dried now, so as you can see, nice coat over there on that. And what I'm going to do now will be, well, not now, I've got to go out, but when I come back, I'm going to spray these with my custom concoction of red for the decking, reddy orange decking color, because around the outside there, that area is going to be, has to be that color, the top of this will have to be the color, and most of this will be that color. And the two of these platforms will too. So I'm going to spray the tops of those, and when that's dried, I'll mask it all up, and then over the top spray the grey that the ship's going to be. The same will be done for the tops of these, which go on the side of the structure there, because that's going to be that orange. So I'll spray that, then tape it up, and then spray that, the grey. And also the top of the bridge, the roof of the bridge area, is also the orange decking. So that'll all get sprayed up as well. So that's the plan. So hopefully I'll be able to go and pick up my paint. I need some red paint. I'm getting my fence railings, and I just realized that I have 2 bottles of Hull Red, but they're both half empty. So probably wouldn't hurt to pick up another one of them too. All right. So back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I picked up some railings. A bit bright, but there it is. So they're all good to go. Certainly going to use a bit of that. I've also working on the missile launchers, and I've just glued them, and then I'll just give them a sand and clean up the bits of sprue on there. And I've also got the end caps. I've started taking those off, and I'll put those on there. Then we got some photo etch here. These little bits of photo etch that sit on the end of these tubes, and look like just part of the supports underneath. And they just have to be bent into 3 places. Just going to focus on that. It's a bit small. No. It doesn't want to focus. They're pretty easy to bend. That'll go on before painting. And I've picked up the red paint. Unfortunately, they didn't have any Hull Red, but I managed to use the 2 quarter jars I have, and then I added a bit of red to make it just a little bit more brighter than the dull Hull Red normally is. And I've painted that, and I'll just grab that and you can have a look. Right, so there's our coat of Hull Red on there. Now the camera is not really showing the color too well, but it is a bit redder than what it's looking on the camera. In fact, it's a lot redder than it's looking on the camera. On the camera, it looks quite brown. But anyway, and I've just painted this like less than an hour ago. I've done a couple of quite thick coats on that. I'm about to take the tape off to leave the white waterline or grey waterline along there. So I'll do that now, and then we'll come back and have a look. Actually, I'm feeling quite confident, so I'll peel this on camera and we'll see how it comes up. Okay, so Very nice, come up nice and neat, nice and straight, no touch-ups required. Very happy with that. A little bit left on the end there, I'll just take that off now. Wants to be fussy. A little bit tricky because of cool. Yeah, done. All good. There we go. All right, so I'll go let this dry properly. Like I said, I only did that less than an hour ago, and that line's come up really, really nice. And I'll make sure I put this in a nice safe place because we won't be coming back to this for a while. The last step of this model build is actually attaching this to the ship and putting the propellers on. All right, fantastic. Okay, well, this would be a good spot to finish off this part of the video. And in part 4, we'll be going into the doing those missile tubes and finishing those, and start painting the deck. We need to get some paint down on that deck and the superstructure. We'll start getting some color down on that, and some taping. So that'll be in part 4. So thanks for watching this, and if you want to comment down below, you're welcome to. Happy to see comments, like to see comments. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you subscribe and hit notifications bell there, you'll get to know when I upload videos and be able to keep up with things. And if you want to go back and you've just come into this one, you can go back to see part 1 or the unboxing of this one and catch up. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye for now. Cheers.